Separator to support an amendment of the upcoming initiative to allow the creation of small clusters of community land trust homes, cost control at under $200,000 per unit, on 5% of the privately owned land near our cities, no more than 2 per square mile.
For me, it would be important to give a yes or no answer right now without full knowledge of the impact it would have. I know that years ago with the general plan, it was voted on by the populace of Sonoma County to have these things so that we didn't have urban sprawl. We wanted to maintain our identity as a rural community, and I believe that's really essential to this day, that we don't pave over so much of our community that we are no longer a rural community. Every time you pave an acre of property, that is also less ability for the planet to absorb water. You have a greater chance of flooding in those areas. So for me, it's what happened basically in Payran, in Petaluma, is they built so much around the creek that they ended up with a lot of flooding because they didn't plan ahead. So for me, I would actually have to see where these homes were going within that buffer zone and how it would impact, once again, the watershed, flood control issues. These things are really important to me, that we have affordable housing, but at the same time we don't destroy the rural community that we already have.
They do have rules in them that there's no pavement, no additional pavement, no GM, no pesticide. No.
And how do you plan to enforce that?
Well, they're owned by community land trusts, so that people join the nonprofit in their home, in their community, and they sign this. These are the conditions of my mortgage and
would there be penalties involved if somebody did start spraying Roundup? How would you enforce that?
I mean, how do you enforce it?
No, that's just what I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I play devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. I only do this not because I disagree with what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I just believe that it's really important that before we make decisions, that we're as well informed as we can, and that we've asked all the difficult questions. It's sort of like when you're prepping somebody for cross-examination, your lawyer will attack you, and so that you know what it's going to be like when people ask you these questions. And unless I ask you, and I'm a proponent of having affordable housing, if I'm not strong enough to ask you these questions, then who's going to ask you these questions?
Right, right.